Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on the Twitter handle, as you can see. And I'm joined today by Aidan Macdonald at Aidan C. Macdonald on the Twitter handle. How are you, Aidan? What's shaking and improving in your area?
I'm good, Tony. How are you?
I'm all right. Anxiously waiting on these fixtures, Aidan. What's going on? How hard is it? I mean, come on. Should find out at some point today, hopefully, but you never know. With the SPFL, Sky, the police, the dog, the budgerigard, everybody's involved in these talks, Aidan, I believe, and trying to thrash out some kind of settlement with the fixers, but we'll get to that. Anyway, first and foremost, guys, we shall direct you to the banners that are running along the bottom. We always ask you to subscribe every day, don't we? But we've got a special reason for asking you to subscribe, Aidan, and that's because time's running out, but you can win 2 tickets for Sunday's Scottish Cup semi-final against Rangers. Who wouldn't want that, Aidan? No, it's for a click of a button. Click of a button, guys. £4 for 4 months of unlimited access to everything that's written on the Celtic Way website. To subscribe, all you have to do, hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. £4 for 4 months, Aidan. You could be at Hampden, but the downside of that is you end up meeting me. That's maybe not so good, Aidan, eh?
That's the highlight of the package, Tony. Come on, getting to meet you. But yeah, no, it's a good opportunity for people to get involved. As we said before, if you were unable to maybe get a ticket in the ballot or just for whatever reason you weren't able to get a ticket, it's a good chance to potentially, as Tony was saying, see Celtic make history or have a chance of making history. Obviously, there would still be a final after that if they were to defeat Rangers, but it's a really good opportunity, and as well as obviously the chance to win the tickets. You know, your subscription will include extra content from people like Tony doing big interviews and feature interviews, stats bomb, tactics pieces, scouting pieces from Y Scout, and columns from people like Kevin McKenna. So get yourself involved if you haven't already.
Yes, and if you get yourself involved, what will happen is if you're a new subscriber, you'll receive a form. Fill in that form before Thursday, April the 27th, because that's the closure date, and you'll be in the mix for the tickets. And if you're an existing subscriber, you'll already have the form in your email inbox. If you haven't, get in touch. We'll try and arrange that. But you've got to Thursday night, guys. Get involved. Could be at Hampden on Sunday. Celtic versus Rangers. It's drawing ever closer, Aidan. And we also say thank you to SENECA. And as everybody knows by now, the Celtic Way Morning Briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group. And SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Now, Aidan, where's the fixtures? What's going on? Now, all sorts of reports saying that they're going to come out today, and there's even a date for the last Glasgow derby of the season. And then the conjecture is that it will be May the 13th, 14th over that weekend. That's either the Saturday or the Sunday, which would mean, Aidan, that would be the second fixture in the split. So Celtic would have one fixture before the Rangers game in order to win the title. Celtic are 1 victory away from winning the title, having moved 13 points clear, Aidan, despite the 1-1 draw on Saturday against Motherwell, but they moved 13 points clear, 1 victory away from a second consecutive title under Ange Postecoglou. The split fixtures are not out yet, meant to come out yesterday. Lots of confusion, but lots of reports saying that Sky Sports and the police were in discussions. So maybe that's what the delay has been, Aidan, and hopefully they'll come out at some point today.
Yeah, the report was that sort of Sky, the SPFL and Police Scotland were involved in talks, and that's why the fixtures were delayed. To be honest, Tony, they seem to be coming later and later every year.
Yes.
It might not always be the case. Maybe it's just how I personally feel. But I know last year it was the kind of like Monday before the sort of Scottish Cup semi-final, and I think the year before that it was a similar day. But I just feel every year it takes longer and longer to do it. I don't know why they wouldn't already have been having these discussions well in advance, particularly about the last Celtic Rangers game. I mean, it's pretty much, they probably could have guessed at the start of the season that would be the sort of top two, or it would be a mix of Celtic and Rangers, and it's been pretty clear with the points tally, at least since before the World Cup, arguably, but after the World Cup, over including sort of Rangers being second to who's in third place, Aberdeen. I think it's something like a 25 point gap or something like that. So I don't really understand why it's taking so long. If that's the only hold up, there could be another reason, but based off the report, that's what they were discussing. That's what they were discussing. Sorry, that it was taking so long, which I don't really understand. But yeah, fingers crossed will be out today, ideally.
Yeah, would you be in favour of I know the date, May the 13th, 14th, Saturday, Sunday's been mooted. Would you be in favour of the midweek game, Aidan, for a Celtic Rangers game? But considering there's no Celtic fans allowed in at Ibrox anyway, so would you like that, or is that something that would not appeal to you at all?
To be honest, Tony, I'm not really that bothered either way. I'm hoping it'll be a dead rubber, to be honest. Obviously, you always want to win those games; they're always important. But if it was a key game that Celtic had to win the league or anything like that, then I would probably maybe rather it was a weekend, because I think there's an extra sort of spice to, particularly when there's no away fans, as we've seen in the 3-0 match last season when it's a midweek game, because it's a bit of a novelty. It only happened in the last campaign because obviously they brought COVID restrictions back in around about Christmas. Everything got delayed, otherwise it would have been a weekend. I'd imagine they'll do their best to just make it a Sunday, Tony, or a Saturday lunchtime. Unless, for whatever reason there was a security threat or something that meant they had to do it midweek, which wouldn't be the case. It would probably more likely to be the other way around. So, yeah, I wouldn't really be that bothered, just given the nature of this game when it was. But I'd imagine they'll probably be doing their best to make it a weekend.
Yep. Guys, get your comments coming in on the fixture debate or the fixture split and why it's taken so long. But keep them clean and keep them fine, and we'll try our best to flick them up. But I just wondered even if also Sky had maybe asked for it to be the first game. That would be box office for Sky, wouldn't it?
It would be, but I just don't think they would allow that, to be honest, Tony. I mean, I wouldn't mind that as well, but it's just, there's no chance. The only way it'd be the first game of the split would be if the league was already wrapped up, in my opinion. And I'm trying to think back when it's been the first game of the split. Somebody might correct me, but the last one I think I can remember was the Invincible season. I think it was the first game of the split, because I remember Celtic played Celtic Rangers in the semi-final, and then it was a game at Ibrox and Celtic won 5-1. The league had already been won by that stage, I think. So somebody might correct me in the chat there if it's happened since, but as far as I remember, that's the last time. All the campaigns after that, I think, also the exception of the COVID season. So the season that gets stopped by COVID 19-20 because it ended early. It's usually not been clinched until at least the first game of the split. I say like that as if it's not a good thing. That's just still winning the league with 4 games to go, but obviously that sort of record that Rodgers had, it was so exceptional that it was kind of clinched even further in advance. But I reckon that it will probably be the second game, Tony, I would imagine. Second or third game.
Yes. Now Derek Crawford comes in and he says, no away fans and the title will be wrapped up. It won't make any difference when it is. Sky will dictate whatever suits their schedule better. I was only throwing that in because I thought maybe Sky had asked for the Celtic Rangers game to be first, Aidan. But I guess
they might have, to be fair, Tony. We don't know, but I just don't think they'll do that if it can be avoided, to be honest.
Yes.
And by they, I mean they play Scotland and SPFL, no Sky.
Yes. Correct. I mean, that was my only reason for Peter King comes in and he reckons Hearts away first game, he thinks. So there you go. Does it matter where the first game is, Aidan? I don't particularly think it does it?
Nah, I don't think it. Obviously, you probably would rather a home game, but I think given that the last league fixture was at home, that it's probably unlikely that'll be the case. I don't think Ange will be bothered to Celtic play, even if it was Rangers first or St Mirren at home. I don't think he'd really be worried that would affect his game plan. He'd just go about it the same way. So yeah, no, I would kind of just be of that line of thinking as well. I wouldn't really be that bothered about who actually was the first opponent for the split. Celtic beating all the teams in the league this season multiple times, so I would just hope that whoever it is will be able to get the job done.
Beach Boy comes in, Tony, seriously. Now, I never asked that. I was saying, was Sky asking the question That's what I was mooting. 50,000 Rangers fans at Ibrox and 60,000 Celtic fans celebrating in the Gallagher on a bank holiday. That's not happening. First and foremost, Celtic would have to win if it was the first game after split for that to happen. Beach Boys, so yeah. But I was
a draw would be enough.
Yeah, sorry, yes, of course it would. But obviously, I'm not saying that I was asking if Sky were asking why they couldn't hold the Celtic Rangers game because it would suit their schedule, because Sky would want that, wouldn't they? That's the end of season climax that they want.
They probably try that every season, but they probably
obviously the authorities wouldn't want that. But I was posing the question: if Sky were locked in talks with Police Scotland, surely that was what most of this would have been about.
Yeah, I mean, though, like you do mention, Tony, that's a good point. There is obviously the extra dynamic of there not being any away fans that could potentially maybe change the plans slightly, but I just think it's probably like to be the set of the third game now. It obviously said they've been absolutely flying this season, but it could happen that you lose, you have to lose, your first two games, your first game, then it ends up becoming a title decider anyway. But I suppose they can't really plan for that. They'll just be assuming probably that Celtic will get a draw or win their first game, and that'll be enough to sort of get the points. In terms of, I've realised that when I was saying a draw would be enough, I guess that would only be if Rangers were to then draw their first game. So I know I'd said, so if it's a draw, obviously, in the Celtic game, that would put them to like 14 or whatever, but then if Rangers were to win, that would obviously bring it down to 11, which would then put it to another game. So I misspoke when I was saying that, just to clarify. But I think they would be assuming that Celtic would ideally get the job done either the first game or if the Rangers game was planned to be the third match, they would get it done there. But look, they couldn't account. It could happen before. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers' second season, Celtic could have won league at Easter Road, first game of the split. They didn't, and then ended up the second match against Rangers at home was a title decider, or a title clincher, probably a better way to put it, because it was 5-0 and Celtic were like about 12 points clear or something. So, but yeah, I just imagine that if they can, they'll avoid it being the sort of game in which the league's decided.
Yeah. Kaiser, Monty Kaiser, if I was a director at Sky, I would want record viewing figures. That's my thoughts. That's why Sky were maybe asking the question if it was possible, and possibly being told that it's not possible for various reasons. 50,000 Rangers supporters being one of the main ones, and 60,000 Celtic supporters gathering in other areas of Glasgow for the eventuality that they could win the title. The safe option will be the fourth game of the split at Ibrox. Yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of conjecture as to the dates, I think the May the 13th, 14th is basing on the assumption that Celtic do win the first game of the split, Aidan.
Yeah, obviously we are making that assumption, but I think it's probably not an unfair assumption given how well the team's been doing this season, how consistent they've been. They've only lost one league game, and they've only drawn two. I think it's fair that we would hope and assume that Celtic would win the first game of the split.
Kaiser comes back in, you have to ask the question. Laugh out loud. Well, we've clearly asked the question, and that's what the delay is, because they're waiting on the answer, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the reports say. Obviously, we don't know it for a fact, but we're kind of just taking the reports that have came out so far about it, and there's clearly a delay at some point, because the fact that it's not came out already when everybody kind of assumed it was going to be the Monday, or even the Monday at the latest, I should say. The fact it's taking a bit longer, like clearly there must be a wee bit of weight to those reports that there's a lot of discussions going on.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee it's today. I mean, the press speculation is it's going to be today, but
I know we don't know that for a fact.
They said it was sort of 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Nothing happened. Then they said it would be Monday evening, and it's dragged on. So there is some sort of delay, and there is some sort of reason as to why there's a delay. So it'll all come out in the fullness of time, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be decided eventually. Hopefully. I mean, Tony, no luck, probably will come off this after like 5 minutes, and then it'll have been announced.
Racing certainty, you know that, and I know that. But hey, apart from this, it's a good day to be off, isn't it? Because I believe you're off, so enjoy the sunshine. Now, just looking ahead to Sunday, but not in any kind of in-depth analysis, even Willie Collum, the referee, on Sunday. Your thoughts? Do you have any? Do you care? But he's the man in the middle. He's going to be calling all the big decisions. Willie Collum got that duty, and you said to me in the office yesterday that he's not refereed a Celtic Rangers game since Cameron Carter-Vickers scored the winner at Ibrox last April, 2-1 victory. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. That was the last Celtic Rangers game that he was in charge of, so it's obviously been a wee while. In terms of my opinion of it, I don't really have one, to be honest. I'm always of the sort of the thoughts that Celtic should just be able to get the job done without thinking about the referee. I know, obviously, this season there was the handball with Connor Goldson at Ibrox, and that did frustrate people. But I think me and you and Sean agreed at the time, is even though we did have our issues with that decision, Celtic were pretty poor in that game and probably didn't really deserve to win it overall. I think in terms of it's sort of like the decisions made by Colum. I know me and you were discussing yesterday the sort of one he had years ago when he was when he had his back turned, the one at Celtic Park.
Yes.
That was obviously a decision that people are still thinking about, and quite rightly so, because it was a shocker. But I'm just hoping, Tony, that Celtic will just be able to get the job done and not have to worry about anything that the referee or VAR has to do.
The Kurt Broadfoot, Daniel Majstorovic challenge, is that right, Aidan?
Yeah, it was Daniel Majstorovic.
Remember him? Yes, remember him.
Yeah, when you say challenge, it was probably lesser.
Well, he held a penalty, didn't he? I mean, he didn't see it, so he clearly held a penalty. So I know. I mean, Willie Collum was using VAR techniques long before they were in vogue when he held the penalty. You know, so I don't know. There you have it. You know, so
it was it wasn't the best decision, but yeah, no, I don't really have that many thoughts on it, Tony, to be honest, referee-wise. I don't know about you.
Listen, I think the man in the middle, and I've said it before, after what happened in the last game, whoever got that job they were on a hiding to nothing. So they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. One of the teams is going to be aggrieved at the end of the semi-final, and if it's because of a contentious refereeing decision, then yeah, of course there's going to be some outcry. So Willie Collum's the man. He likes to be the star of the show, doesn't he? So he's got the biggest stage of all to be the star of the show. So it's one of them. I don't know that I wasn't really fussed as to who was going to referee it, because I just think in light of the fallout from the last one with Kevin Clancy and stuff like that, it's just made a thankless task even more thankless. And you just wouldn't want to be Willie Collum, would you? Which is why we mooted, bring in referee from another country for that particular game on Sunday. There is so much riding on it. But Willie Collum's the man. He's been deemed that he's a man and he can handle it, and he'll handle it in his own inimitable way. No doubt everybody has their thoughts about Willie Collum. So, we shall see what happens with Willie on Sunday. As you say, I've no real thoughts on it either until such times when he makes a complete mad howler and I go off my nut. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one and see what happens. But listen, there is one place you wouldn't want to be. Everybody wants to be at Hampden on Sunday, but there's one place you wouldn't want to be, and that's the man in the middle, Aidan, in the centre circle, calling the shots. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think very few people would want to be the referee for that match, Tony. To be honest, that is a bit of a thankless task, like you said, even before obviously the stuff with Kevin Clancy and all that recently, that gave it even more sort of notoriety in terms of taking charge of this fixture. But I reckon that nobody would really want to be involved in making the key decisions in that game. Hopefully, we're not talking about VAR, etc. come the end of the match at the semi-final, regardless of the result. But there's always potential it could be the case, Tony, but ideally not. The VAR stuff has calmed down a wee bit recently. Maybe not overall in Scottish football. I know there was debate with Graham Shinney and that, etc., about whether it was a red card or not, that sort of thing. But in terms of Celtic decisions, it seems to have calmed down a wee bit. But we would obviously, maybe I don't want to jinx it ahead of this.
Flare up. You know that now. Thanks for that, Aidan. Well done, son. I'll flare up on Sunday, won't it? Now, Brendan Cairns taking a leaf out your old dad's book here. Aidan, since Celtic haven't been playing the free-scoring, rip-roaring, never-boring best when they played Rangers in the last couple of meetings. So if Celtic bring their rip-roaring, free-scoring, never boring type of football to the table on Sunday, Aidan, you'll be confident that they can win this and go on and try and win their 8th domestic treble.
Yeah, if Celtic play at their absolute best at the weekend, then I would be pretty confident that they'll be able to get the 3 points. What am I talking about? To get through at the final, Tony. If that's the case, then yeah. But
they all merge into one, Aidan. That's the point, isn't it? They all merge into one.
What the commenters are talking about there in terms of the last couple of games, there's probably not been vintage sort of Celtic performances against Rangers. You know, that match against Rangers last season when Celtic won 3-0, the 4-0 game back in September, they were sort of really high barometers on how you're going to perform, and I understand you can't perform like that every single match. They've got the job done in the last 2 games. I think we agreed the match at Celtic Park, you know, the team didn't play that well. It was a wee bit disjointed, etc. I personally think the cup final performance wasn't really as bad as a lot of people made out. I know it wasn't a vintage match, but you know, I thought they played all right. And even after Rangers did score their goals, Celtic had plenty of chances at the end to wrap it up.
Yeah.
If they took a few of them, that could maybe have been 3-4-1 the match finish. So I don't know if I would necessarily agree about that being not the best performance, but yeah, the last match did leave a little bit to be desired when it finished up, but it probably was all about the result in the end, Tony, to be honest.
Yeah, correct. I get that. Now Kaiser comes in on Willie Collum saying Collum overreaction is fearful of retribution, losing games and personal details exposed. I think most referees would feel that kind of heat even now after what happened in the last Celtic Rangers game. But we'll see what happens. So there you go. Now, Aidan, also wanted to touch upon the Celtic women's team. Wonderful scenes the other day. Celtic beat Glasgow City for the second time in a week. Aidan, 1-0. They've reached the Scottish Cup final where they will play Rangers at Hampden, 28th of May. Natasha Flint's first half goal separating Celtic and Glasgow City, a 1-0 win. 28th of May, Aidan, Rangers v Celtic, and it's the first ever women's Scottish Cup final that will take place at Hampden. So a little bit of history being made there too, but it's just shaping up to be a sensational end to the season for the senior team and the women's team, Aidan, and those wonderful scenes of Fran Alonso celebrating, which were all over social media. So they're just riding the crest of a wave at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, it was really good scenes when we've seen them celebrating, and that's not been the first time that's happened this season.
Yeah.
I think when Celtic beat Rangers 3-0 in the league, he was running right down the touchline as well. But yeah, no, the women's team's in a phenomenal place. You know, at one point it did look like the Glasgow City were going to be just a wee bit too far ahead, but then the sort of recent results of Celtic beating Glasgow City in the league and then Celtic winning again with Rangers also beating Glasgow City has put the gap right down to the way it is now, and it's basically the stage that if Celtic win all the league games between now and the end of this campaign, they will win the SWPL. Now, it's not going to be easy. You know, there's still 6 matches left. That involves playing Glasgow City and Rangers again, just because of the way the split works. But as Sean was mentioning yesterday, you know, it's not anybody they've not already beat this season. It's in that top 6. They sort of got over the hurdle, and the fact that they also defeated Glasgow City again in the cup maybe shows you they've got a number between now and the end of the season.
Yep.
Obviously, the women's team won a double last year, which was phenomenal. If they were to win another double this year, it also included the league. I mean, it would be a phenomenal achievement, Tony.
Yeah, and a couple of comments coming in. Tony Jenkins, great result for the girls, but City gave up some big chances. Fair enough, they still got the job done, though, Tony, that's what's important. And Seamus Gallagher said, "Wee Fran gets what Celtic's all about." He certainly does, because some of his scenes of celebration have been excellent. And I also thought when he spoke after the incident in the last Celtic Rangers game, he came across really, really well. He handled himself with real dignity and class. And, you know, you're delighted for him, aren't you? Because he's so enthusiastic and you want to see him do well. And you say in 6 games, if they win them all, they win the title. That'll be Celtic Women's first ever title. They've got Scottish Cup to look forward to. And I'd like to think that a lot of Celtic supporters would go along and cheer on the women a week before, hopefully, the men's team are in the Scottish Cup final.
Yeah, hopefully it's a good sort of attendance. I mean, I think they said there was 1,000 at I don't know how many was at the Rangers Motherwell game, but there was 1,000 fans at the Celtic Glasgow City game. They'd probably be hoping if given it's a Celtic Rangers final, they'll get a wee bit of a bigger crowd than that. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of interest. In fact, hopefully the weather will be good, the time of the year it is, etc. No, it's a really positive time, and if the league's potentially just about to be clinched or being clinched by that stage, I would need to double check the dates. I don't know if the cup final's right at the end of the season, but I think if it was the case that they'd also had an SWPL title as well in there, it'd be phenomenal, to be fair, from Fran, from the team. And they're absolutely flying, and I think there's been real progress. Obviously, you can see that since it went full time, which it probably is why there was a lot of people making the argument that Celtic should have been investing the money and going full time for a long time, because you will get the benefit. And it's been clear to see, obviously qualifying for Europe that first time, being in the qualifying section anyway, I should say, then winning the double last year, it would be like if they were to win the sort of league and get into the Champions League this season, it would be good, because you'd be able to see a clear natural progression through each campaign, which is similar to Andrew's philosophy in a way, that coming back bigger and better, etc. So the fact that if Fran Alon's able to do that with the women's team, that would be phenomenal.
Excellent. You can't speak highly enough of them, because they seem to be emulating the men's team, and well done to them. Now, I don't know if the fixtures are out yet, Aidan. There seems to be some kind of I've been sent a screenshot of alleged fixtures, but I wouldn't want to read it out in case it's not true.
I'll have a wee double check, Tony, if you just keep the conversation flowing right now.
Yes, so as young Aidan, as the mercy of technology, starts to look around and see if the fixtures are available, I won't be singing any elevator music, guys, but if you want to throw in a couple of questions that you want me to answer, I'll try and answer, so be it. But I just like the thing, as Aidan said, that the fixtures are announced as we come off air. But yeah, there you go. I'm sure Aidan will be able to bring us those fixtures if they are around, but I wouldn't want to read them out. I have a screenshot of supposed fixtures, but I wouldn't want to read them out, guys, in case it's wrong and pass off wrong information. Curtis, yep, that seems to be that's one of the screenshots that I've got, but as I say, it's not actually confirmed yet, so we'll wait and see what happens.
I can't see anything confirmed right now, Tony, on the SPFL website or their Twitter page. So I'll leave it up to you if you're wanting to share potential of that, but I understand if you'd maybe rather just leave it if we don't have a 100% guarantee of it being correct.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to read it out then.
It's probably available. I'm sure it'll be available on forums, etc., on Twitter, social media. If people want to go and see that for themselves, Tony, I would suggest it'll be probably available somewhere for people to go and look at.
Now here's Conal O'Brien coming in. Do you think expanding the league to 20 teams would help the league quality get better? I do. He says. Do you think that would make the league better, Aidan, if you expand the league to 20 teams? Would that be then they would play each other twice, home and away, 38 game season?
I mean, the league reconstruction thing, does feel like it's something that comes up every year, Tony.
Yeah,
have a way to make it different. I remember it being sort of particularly a discussed topic during when football had been stopped for COVID, and they didn't know exactly what was going to happen the next season. And Budge was pushing for it. I think that's probably because Hearts were getting relegated. But if I look at it not from a cynical perspective and say, would the 20 teams make a difference? It's probably, I know that other teams won't care about this in the league, but I think Sky wouldn't want to give up their 4 Celtic Rangers games this season. Now, another discussion about should we be dictating everything to Sky's sort of every sort of wish. I would say no, but obviously at the moment they are providing the TV deal, which I think we've all agreed could be better. That's a separate discussion, not what I'm trying to say. I just don't think they would give up another 2 Celtic Rangers games in the league, Tony, to be honest. Yeah. From my perspective, 20 teams, look, could argue it would add more importance onto the 2 derbies if we just look at them individually to start. You'd only be playing Rangers twice potentially in a season if you weren't to draw them in the cup, or either the cup, sorry. So from that perspective, it would maybe make those games even bigger. It would involve, maybe not fresh opposition, but more different games, more variety, obviously, overall. But I just think because of the Celtic Rangers games, I can't see Sky agreeing to that. And I'd imagine while we're under their TV contract, they'll be, which I can't remember when the deals come up, is it 2025, 2026? whenever they come up, I'd imagine that their main negotiating point will be, well, we still want the 4 Celtic Rangers games. If you're wanting to change to reconstruct the league, then you're going to be basically losing more money. And we already know the TV deal isn't the best. Obviously, the alternative to that is, somebody else comes in, offers a much better deal than Sky, but it doesn't seem to be on the horizon right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think Sky would give up for Glasgow Derby's a season. I've got to be honest, that's the bare minimum requirement.
You probably wouldn't even lose one, Tony, to be honest. Never mind.
I've been a journalist for 25 years, Aidan, and ever since I've started, every summer, league reconstruction has been talking about, so ad infinitum, and nothing much has happened. We've got the kind of split and all that kind of stuff, and but it's something that people talk about a lot, but nobody has come up with the perfect solution to a league campaign, a league season, because it's always based on 4 Celtic Rangers matches. So, and
obviously other teams, I understand other teams that they don't care about that. It's nothing to do with them. But I just can't see Sky doing that. And this current deal we're in anyway, that will be dictated probably most, or the biggest negotiating price at the SPFL, SFA when they were negotiating the deal would have been, we can offer you 4 Celtic Rangers games. I know maybe some people and other teams won't like to hear that, and like I say, I can understand their point of view, but I just think there's no way, like you say, Tony, that Sky are going to give it up. And like you're saying yourself, you've been working in the industry for over 25 years. It's always a discussion round about this time of the season, or maybe over the summer when things are a wee bit quieter. Nothing ever gets done. The SFA don't even usually acknowledge it either. They're probably the only time in recent years I'd always seen them acknowledging it was when football stopped with COVID, because there was a whole thing with Hearts, Partick Thistle potentially going down from the Championship as well. There was a bit of a discussion about it, but yeah, I'm in the same sort of boat as you. I can't really see it happen.
That's half my life I've been working as a journalist, which frightens me a wee bit, but there you go. Hey,
still in your prime, Tony. Still in your prime.
Aye, oil of Ole, as I've said before. Secret of eternal youth, given to me by my mother, no less. There you have it. Anyway, we shall wrap it up there, and I'll let people go and see if the fixtures are out. Lots of unconfirmed reports of those fixtures, but we'll see if that's true or not. Aidan, thanks very much for your contribution today. Really enjoyed that. Excellent stuff. I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your supposed day off, sir. But before you go, guys, you have to get involved in this. Subscribe to the Celtic Way. Costs you £4 for 4 months of unlimited access to everything that's written on the website, and all for the click of a button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. If you're a new subscriber, you'll get a forum. Fill in the forum, and you'll be able a chance to win this fabulous prize. And if you're an existing subscriber, look out for that email, drop it in your inbox, send it away. You've got until midnight, Thursday, April 27th. The winner will be announced on Friday, April 28th. 2 tickets, you and a friend will be along at Hampden, and you might even get a chance to meet your old dad here. There you go. What more can you say about that, Aidan? That's the tickets are a great prize. Meeting myself is a bit dubious, but there you have it.
That's the highlight, Tony. I've said that. That could be on the wee banner. Do you know what I mean? On the tickets.
Yeah. And Steve McGrory echoes my sentiments about the fixtures. Cheers, guys. Fixtures wise, que sera, sera. Exactly. What will be, Steve, in terms of the fixtures. Good morning to you, sir. And before we go, we'll just plug SENECA once more, because SENECA, we say thank you to them, because the Celtic Way morning briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group, and SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments, and you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Guys, thanks for your comments. I'll let you go and see who Celtic have got in the post-split fixtures. Here's to a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you again for a wonderful Wednesday. Take care. Aidan, first class today, sir. Top man. Take it easy, eh?